is a better choice. My one and only station.
DBS Radio.
Fair and balanced, unbiased and clear, concise and accurate. This is the DBS Evening News. Here now is your presenter with the headlines.
The acting fire chief in Dominica, Wayne Later, says the Dominica Fire and Ambulance Services working to fill vacant positions to meet staffing levels. In news from the region this evening, Martinique records near 11% increase in cruise ship passenger arrivals, and news from the international scene, the UN demands justice over Israeli double strike on Gaza hospital. Details of the evening news right after this.
It's in the feeling in our weak side. It's in the meaning in our squad. It is the thing that sets us apart. Who we are. 'Cause the rhythm of life is pumping. Together going strong. No matter what, we keep things flowing. So people, we will go all in. Our hands up in the sky. Celebrating. Come, let your rhythm flow.
DBS News.
Welcome back to the DBS Evening News. The acting fire chief, Wayne Later, says the Dominica Fire and Ambulance Services is actively working to fill vacant positions in order to reach its established staffing levels. He made the announcement during the Disasters and You program hosted by the Office of Disaster Management on DBS Radio earlier today.
We are moving in line with the government of Dominica's policies of having women inclusive. So our policy and the ministry policy moving forward is that every 5 fire officers that are recruited, 1 must be a female. And we're moving ahead of that. We are seeing females are moving up the rank. We currently have a female officer who is the first female officer appointed to the position of station officer. Station Officer Kathy Raymond. She's currently the officer in charge of the Portsmouth district. So at high level. So at all ranks, we have females. So we have females who are station officer. We have a female who is sub-station officer, the rank below. And we have female who are leading fire officers. Our establishment is currently 165. Well, we are not overstaffed because we need more. Yes. So we need more. Yes. And we have some vacancies that the ministry is attempting to fill in right now. So we are in that process at this moment, trying to fill in those vacancies so we can be up to our maximum according to our establishment. But we will always need staff. And the programs that we are putting, the expansion that we are planning to do with the fire service includes all that. So these are discussions that have already been started, and we'll continue with those discussions as the ministry is concerned.
And that's the acting fire chief, Wayne Later. Education Minister Octavia Alfred says education reform is needed to ensure Dominican students become more well-rounded individuals. She says, in spite of the achievement of academic excellence by many Dominican students, there are key areas of concern within the current education system.
Because in spite of all what we see, all our wonderful grades, we continue to see disregard for authority, lack of love for country and for fellow countrymen. We continue to see increase in disregard for life, human life. There's no harmony between man and his environment. AI is coming on us there so fast, and we're wondering how far this will take us and how ready are we. We have closed the gap in numeracy and literacy, but we have not learned to embrace each other and our differences. We see men going to the moon and Mars, but we can't walk in our parks at any hour and feel completely safe. This is what education is all about. We stress learner-centeredness in curriculum and teaching and learning for learners to achieve the desired outcome, yet our focus continues to be heavily on assessment. Our success continues to be measured by how well we do on an exam. When we hear some schools name calling, we say, yes. For us, that is where our whole focus is. And even when we are rated as being successful, The workplace is still disappointed because we have intelligence on paper, but we lack certain skills. And this is where the reform is going.
And that's the minister responsible for education, Octavia Alfred. Education reform in Dominica is expected to begin at the primary schools level in September 2025. Double murder accused Jonathan Lehrer has been denied bail on a firearms trafficking matter. Lehrer and co-accused Robert Snyder are on remand at the Stock Farm prison for the murder of Echo Resort owner Daniel Langwa and his partner Dominic Marchand in the Soufriere area in December 2023. Director of Public Prosecutions, Shema Dalrymple.
On the 15th day of January 2025, Jonathan Lehrer was charged with trafficking in firearms. On that day, he was brought to court and charges were read to him. Bail was denied in the magistrate's court. He subsequently made a bail application again in the magistrate's court where it was denied. In late July, he filed a bail application in the High Court. The 20th of August 2025, Justice Baptiste ruled on that matter. In that matter, the Chief of Police and myself were defendants. So the Office of the Director of Public Prosecutions retained Keith Scotland, Senior Counsel out of Trinidad, to represent both defendants. We filed arguments in the matter, and also there was a hearing. Thereafter, the ruling was handed down last week, Wednesday, the 20th of August, 2025, and Justice Baptiste ruled that bail was denied. So we now have this situation. Yes, his bail is opened in the double murder matter, but bail is denied in the trafficking in firearms matter. As such, he will not be able at this stage to access liberty.
And that's the Director of Public Prosecutions, Shema Dalrymple. Local CXC Registrar Magali Celestine has called for more compatible devices and improved internet services at Dominica schools. Her call came during the release of results of the 2025 CXC exams.
Due to a growing shortage of suitable devices and, in some cases, poor internet connectivity at our centers, only 11 out of the 17 centers were equipped for e-testing of all CSEC, CAPE, and CCSLC multiple choice papers. The Convent High School and the St. Mary's Academy, as well as the Academic School of Learning, continue to lead the way for e-testing in Dominica, while students at the Goodwill Secondary School, which is currently housed at the Newtown Primary School, and students of the Pierre Charles Secondary School got the best experiences online when compared to other schools. There was one cell phone incident in the CSEC exam room this year, and it was a minor issue. All paper 3-2 CAPE and CSEC exams were offered in the hybrid mode. This means that candidates had to log on to a device to view the question paper, and booklets were provided for written responses. This hybrid approach will soon become the norm. So, Madam Minister, there is a call for more compatible devices and better internet service at our schools to facilitate not only teaching and learning throughout the year, but also assessment.
And that's the local CXC Registrar, Magali Celestine. Vincentia National Segila McDowell is set to become Dominica's new High Court judge effective September 1, 2025 to February 28, 2026. McDowell, a former Director of Public Prosecutions, DPP, of St. Vincent since 2020, replaces Justice Colin Williams. She acted as Director of Public Prosecutions in St. Vincent after Justice Colin Williams left St. Vincent in 2018 to become a judge in Belize. McDowell became the first female Director of Public Prosecutions of St. Vincent and the Grenadines when she was confirmed in the year 2020. 4 trade unions in Dominica are finalizing a constitution for a trade union congress in the country. Dominica could have its first ever trade union congress before the end of this year.
We got a latest draft from the consultant That consultant, as we said to you before, is hired by or engaged by the ILO. So once we go over that, plus our own addition to it, we would be ready to make this the final constitution, and we should be ready for the launching of the TUC, if not late September, but definitely early October. We will not, I want to repeat, we will not see October disappear without the establishment or the launching of the Trade Union Congress. Well, you have 4 unions that are interested in TUC. Anybody from any of this union can be elected as president of the TUC, as well as general secretary, first vice president, and treasurer. So these positions will be elected by the delegates. The delegates, the number of delegates, that will be dependent on the membership of the various unions. So a union, the union with the largest membership, since you will be paying more in terms of subscription and so on, will have more delegates. So these are things that we will be finalizing.
And that's member of the steering committee for the Trade Union Congress, Thomas Later. Over 140 frontline service providers in Dominica's tourism sector have been trained to enhance service standards. This follows the completion of a Chief Experience Officer training series designed for tourism service providers. The training series, which ran from July 28 to August 11, was a collaborative effort between the Ministry of Tourism, the Discover Dominica Authority, and the Caribbean Tourism Organization, CTO.
These participants included taxi operators, tour guides, craft vendors, hair braiders, accommodation staff, and forestry wardens, who play a vital role in shaping Dominica's tourism experience. The program, delivered in collaboration with the Caribbean Tourism Organization, focused on teamwork, emotional intelligence, service recovery, and continuous improvement. It was designed to shift the mindset from me to we, ensuring that together we elevate the Nature Island brand. We want to commend and congratulate all the service providers who successfully completed this training. Commitment to learning and growth demonstrates the pride you take in representing Dominica. We also extend sincere thanks to the quality assurance team of the Discover Dominica Authority for their excellent work in organizing and coordinating this impactful workshop. Service providers are the heartbeat of our tourism industry, and by investing in them, we are investing in the continued growth and reputation of Dominica as the Nature Island of the Caribbean.
And that's the Chief Executive Officer of Discover Dominica Authority, Marva Williams. Earlier on, during the Joseph Fadul program, the Drive Time program, you heard about the Places Academy. The Places Academy is an institution for early childhood education in Dominica. The facility will open its doors in September, sometime in September, on Independence Street. You will hear more on the DBS Morning News. The news continues right after this.
It's in the feeling and how we talk. It's in the meaning and our spark. It is the thing that sets us apart. Who we are. 'Cause the rhythm of life keeps pumping. Together going strong. No matter what, we keep things flowing. Before we will go all in. Our hands up in the sky. Celebrate and come let your rhythm flow.
DBS News.
In news from the region this evening, we will bring you news that the Martinique authorities, in fact Martinique, has posted a significant increase in the number of cruise passengers for the 2024-2025 season, with a near 11% increase from the 421,000 figure the previous year to more than 465,000 passengers. The French Caribbean island received more than 200 ship calls, with tourism officials saying that this is a clear sign of the island's rising appeal as both a home port and transit destination. Martinique now ranks among the region's fastest growing cruise hubs, a momentum further boosted by MSC's Cruises' recent announcement to resume year-round operations in Martinique starting 2027. Finally, this evening, we can bring you news that the United Nations, the UN, has said there needs to be justice following Israel's double strike on a Gaza hospital, which killed at least 20 people. As an initial Israeli military probe said, the strike had targeted a camera positioned by Hamas. Condemnation of the attack, whose victims included 5 journalists and 4 health workers, has been mounting, with the UK Prime Minister Keir Starmer describing it as completely indefensible. Later today, the Israeli Defense Force released an inquiry which identified several gaps for further investigation. It came as Israel launched a day of nationwide protests, calling on their government to accept a deal to release the hostages. It is 18 minutes after 6 o'clock. That's news. Don't go away. The Sports Report comes up shortly.
Covering the nation and beyond, DBS Sports Report.
Flo's prepaid customers can now unlock big bonus rewards like bonus data, prizes, and more every time you activate a 3-day prepaid plan or larger. Activate a plan, then scratch to reveal your bonus data. Plus, get points for extra prizes. The more you activate, the more bonus data and prizes you can win. Get in on the big bonus rewards when you activate a prepaid plan. Dial *129# or visit topupflow.com to activate a plan today.
Let's begin the DBS Evening Sports Report with football news. The Dominica Football Association, the DFA, is planning in a big way to recognize the national under-14 girls football team. The team placed second in the under-14 challenge in Trinidad on the weekend, recording Dominica's best ever performance. DFA Public Relations Officer Abby Lawrence says the girls will be rewarded for their heroics on the field.
Dominica Football Association sees it fitting to celebrate these young ladies with such a tremendous victory they've brought to themselves, whether or not they did not emerge as winners, but to us they are winners. They've made history in the making, coming up in the top of their tier 2, and making it to the finals. So as a result, the Dominica Football Association will host them at 4 p.m. at the Pastoral Center. We expect short addresses from the president, other members of the executive, the parents, the general secretary, the coach, and the students themselves to give their own experiences and what they went through. We intend to proceed with a motorcade to the venue where they will be treated, and yes, guess what? Some surprises will await the many. So it's just a form of sending the students and the parents as well. Thank you. The coaching staff, thank you for a job well done in Trinidad. And the DFA is looking forward to keep molding these young ladies as we better, as I say, the product daily. So hence tomorrow, it's just a mere fact of showing our true appreciation and affinity towards these young persons, the coaching staff, and the clubs to which they belong, and to the Dominican public.
And that's the Public Relations Officer of the Dominica Football Association, Abby Lawrence. Some cricket news now. The Windward Islands Volcanoes player Gillon Tyson got an impressive half-century, guiding the Concord Super Kings to a comfortable win over the GM Strikers as the Kalinago Premier League continued last weekend.
Super Kings elected to bat first, scored 165 runs for 5 wickets in their allotted 17 overs. Gillon Tyson scored 83, while Kadim Geist and Dario Geist each contributed 16 runs. Bowling for GM Strikers, Delaney Alexander took 2 for 14, Fitzroy Lorna took 2 for 20, needing 166 runs in 17 overs. To win, GM Strikers scored 116 all out in 14 overs. Aaron Vivier scored 27, Delaney Alexander 20, and Hubert Lucien 18. Bowling for Concord Super Kings, Roger St. Valmont took 5 wickets for 20 runs. Derry Ogis took 2 for 31. JB James and Julian Baptiste took 1 wicket each. So Concord Super Kings victorious over the GM Strikers.
League coordinator Alexander Burton. Meantime, the defending champions Point Ridge Thunder Kings picked up another win.
In game number 2, reduced to 15 overs, Izulukati Bombers versus Point Ridge Thunder Kings, who batted after winning the toss. Point Ridge Thunder Kings 178 for 5 in 15 overs. Akan Edwards 71, Maringa Bruni 29 and Gian Benjamin 24. Jason Alexander took 2 for 53. Vincent Luis and Wayne August took 1 wicket each. Needing 179 in 15 overs, Izulukati Bombers were restricted to 126 for 7 in 15 overs. Jason Alexander 55, Asa Burton 19. Bowling for Thunder Kings, Trevon Dossett took 4 wickets for 16 runs, while Maringa Bruni and Bogart Green took 1 wicket each. So the final scores: Point Ridge Thunder Kings 178 for 5 in 15 overs. Izulukati Bombers 126 for 7 in 15 overs.
League coordinator Alexander Burton. Meantime, the Easy Lucati Bombers are leading the points table with 10 points and 1 game left in their season. Defending champions Point Ridge Thunder Kings are second on 10 points. GM Strikers have 8 points. BA Grinders, they have 6. Cynical Red Force also has 6 points. Atkinson and Trizzle Dynamic Stars, they have 4 points. Concord Super Kings 4, while the Central Centipede, they're yet to get off the mark. Reports in Barbados are suggesting that the former West Indies Test captain Craig Brathwaite is set to be dropped from the Cricket West Indies Central contract list for the 2025-2026 season. The Barbados Nation News is reporting that the 32-year-old Brathwaite is not expected to be among the players offered an international retainer. Brathwaite, however, has been offered a domestic contract by the Barbados Pride franchise following the recent regional draft. Brathwaite recently became just the 10th West Indian to play 100 Test matches, but his form in recent time has been on the decline, which led him being dropped for the 3rd Test match against Australia. Cricket West Indies has yet to officially announce its list of centrally or regionally contracted players for the year. The national netball team will be looking to put an end to their 2-match losing streak in the 5th ECCB International Netball Series as that tournament continues in Grenada this evening. Dominica has started off the competition with defeats to Grenada and St. Lucia. The national netball team will take on the defending champions, St. Vincent and the Grenadines, this evening. That game is set to get underway at 7 o'clock. Now let's turn the focus to some more football news. The Dominica Football Association, DFA, is in the process of constitutional reform and reviewing of its statutes to ensure that the Football Association aligns with international best practices. A team from FIFA and CONCACAF are assisting the DFA with the process. DFA President Glenn Etienne says the goal of the exercise is to strengthen transparency, accountability, and development of the sport at all levels.
And that is something that people is on a drive for all the islands, the MAs, because most of the MAs, the constitutions have been outdated or they have been there for a long time. So it's just a path of making sure that we are up to date with our constitutions. And DFA is one of the MAs within the region and within the world that FIFA is undergoing these reforms and stuff like that. So we have some persons from FIFA on island, and they are conducting that reform.
And that's the president of the Dominica Football Association, Glenn Etienne. Changes to the executive and how elections are held will be some of the changes the reform will bring about. 3 positions are set to be removed from the executive: Treasurer, Assistant Secretary Treasurer, and the Public Relations Officer. The election of President will also take a new format, and there will be term limits.
The council now, or the executive, will be a 7-member executive which comprise of the president, 2 vice presidents, and 4 members. So basically, there'll be no position of treasurer or PRO or public relations person. But that doesn't mean on that council that one of the executive members can be the chairman of the finance committee. You know, one member can be the chairman of the marketing or public relations officer position. But it's not something that you're going to see in the election that in the past that we vote for a treasurer, assistant secretary treasurer, and a PRO person, PRO. And it's even going further than this, where it's going to be split, like you're only going to vote for team, rather than in the past we were voting for individual positions. Where there'll be an election code, there'll be independent committees that will take on this election process. Even the candidacy of certain persons like the president, the vice president, there's going to be term limits, and there's going to be, like I say, the electoral committee is going to be an independent body which undertakes the election process.
And that's the president of the Dominica Football Association, Glenn Etienne. It is hopeful that the changes will be implemented before the end of the year. Let's stay with football news. A 6th-place finish in the DFA Premier League will be on the line as Promex Harlem United will challenge Middleham United FC as the two teams play their final match of the season tonight at the DFA Technical Center. Harlem are currently 6th and Middleham 7th. Just 2 points separate the two teams. There is an added incentive to finish as high up the table as possible, as it will impact the team's share of the prize money at the end of the season. Tonight's match gets underway at 6:30 at the DFA Technical Center. Tonight's other match, the Roosevelt Skerrit Bombers, will play Petro Caribe Point Michel at 6:30 at the Benjamin Park. Well, the table as it stands sees Central Cooperative Credit Union Dubla FC in first place on 48 points. The Belfast Estate Mahosoka Strikers ended second on 37 points. Roosevelt Skerrit Bombers occupy the third place with 31 points with 1 game left to play. Valvoline United are fourth on 31 points. Sagicor Southeast fifth on 28. Promex Harlem are 6th on 24, Middleham 7th on 22, Petro Caribe Point Michel 8th on 14, Connect 767 Courts Ready Cash East Central 9th on 10 points, and the DSFC 10th on just 4 points. The Dominica Cricket Association, the DCA, is closely monitoring developments in India and new legislation that is impacting Dream 11, the title sponsor of Dominica's Nature Isle T10 tournament. Dream 11 on Monday announced that it was withdrawing as the sponsor of the Indian Premier League and the sponsor of India's national cricket team. This following legislation passed in India last week that made real money-based online games illegal. The Indian government cited psychological distress, financial loss, money laundering, and even financing of terrorism as reasons to ban real money gaming services. Apart from its sponsorship in India, Dream 11 is also the fantasy partner of the Caribbean Premier League and is linked to leagues in New Zealand, Australia, and has a partnership with the International Cricket Council, the ICC. Dream 11 also funds T10 cricket tournaments across the Caribbean, including Dominica's Nature Isle T10 tournament. DBS Sports can confirm that the Dominica Cricket Association, the DCA, has not received any official communication from Dream 11 as to how the situation in India could impact operations in the Caribbean. Apart from funding the T10 tournament, the revenue generated from Dream 11 spills over into many other aspects of the operations of the Dominica Cricket Association. Finally, this evening, the St. Lucia Kings will be hoping for some good weather so that they can start to accumulate some points as the Republic Bank CPL continues tonight. The defending champions have seen their title defense impacted by the weather, with 2 of their 4 matches being rained out. The Kings will take on the Guyana Amazon Warriors as that competition continues tonight in St. Lucia. The Kings are currently in 5th place in the standings on 4 points. Well, that's how we'll end the DBS evening news and sports. Of course, we want to remind you that tomorrow night at 7, we bring you our sports program, the only and, well, the best sports program in Dominica. We bring that to you off the field tomorrow night at 7. And, of course, you want to continue to listen to DBS for dynamic programming on DBS throughout the evening. And, of course, tomorrow morning, you don't want to miss DBS Radio for its programming. Well, on behalf of the news and sports departments and our link person, Joseph Fadul, Curtis Matthew saying good night.
It's in the feeling and how we talk. It's in the meaning and our spark. It is the thing that sets us apart. Who we are. 'Cause the rhythm of life keeps pumping. Together going strong. No matter what, we keep things flowing. People, we will go all in. Our hands up in the sky. Celebrating. Come, let your rhythm flow.
Now, your community bulletin board.
Good evening and welcome to this evening's edition of the DBS Radio Community Bulletin Board. We head straight into the general announcements. It is the 26th day of August 2025. Domlec wishes to inform its customers at Lizard Trail area in West Picard, including Axom, that their electricity supply will be interrupted on Thursday, the 28th of August, between the hours of 9 a.m. and 2:30 p.m. This interruption is necessary to allow Domlec to undertake maintenance on the high voltage distribution system at Lizard Trail. Additional information is available on their website www.domlec.dm under scheduled outages. Domlec appreciates your understanding in this matter and regrets any inconvenience caused. And we've come to the end of this evening's edition of the DBS Radio Community Bulletin Board. Thank you very much for joining us. The next edition will be tomorrow morning from 6:10 a.m. with the death announcements, and then we continue at 7:40 with the general announcements. Don't forget to hear your announcements on DBS Radio. You can come in to the Sales and Marketing Team's office on Victoria Street. You can give us a call at 448-3282, or you can shoot us an email, traffic@dbcradio.net. Once again, traffic@dbcradio.net, or you can email dbsradio@cwdom.dm. 7 o'clock tonight, we are headed over to a night 2 of the Goodwill Gospel Mission Crusade. That's 7 o'clock tonight, right here on DBS Radio, night 2 of the Goodwill Gospel Mission Crusade.